Hi, and thank you for coming for our training session. Today we're going to do our general warm-up for alignment to prevent injury. And then we're going to do a bit of back strengthening, a couple of new exercises, deadlifts in different angles for our hips, and then chest pressing, core work, and some agility work. So I like to start with always a bit of soft tissue. And so if you could get a tennis ball or a massage ball, probably a lot of people have one by now. And first we're going to work on the pectoral muscles in the chest. So here I have this door frame. And the ball, first I like to just work here just across the pecs wherever it might feel a bit sore. And the head, so the head should be turned away from the ball and angled slightly down. And be sure to get in the corner where your chest bone, the sternum, collarbone, and the first rib meet. And then work your way down out along the edge of the collarbone. And then when you get to the edge, to go right around the head of the humerus. So for that, you can bring the arm up like this. So here on the other side of this door, I have my arm is up. It allows you to clear the tight tissues and get better blood flow down your arm. Okay, and now we'll switch to the other side first, below the collarbone. And then by the underarm, you can spend more time here, but we have a lot to do today. It's really great to keep up our strength. And so sometimes the tendon attachments around the humerus here, they get really tight and from our shoulders being forward all the time. And if it's tight there, you can't actually externally rotate the shoulder. So if it feels that way, do spend extra time. Right there. Went on a long drive yesterday, so you know the steering wheel, you could definitely feel that. Now we're going to work on the bottoms of the feet. And first, just kind of loosely massaging out the bottoms of the feet for the circulation. And then to help build the arches a little more, in the forefoot, the transverse arch, if you could press the ball and kind of wrap your forefoot around the ball. And the lateral arch is on the outside of the foot, just above the heel. And then, of course, in your medial arch in the middle, wherever it feels dense. Okay, and switch the other foot, just rolling around. And then the forefoot, put a bit of pressure there. The lateral arch on the outside of the foot. And then the bottom of your foot in your plantar fascia. Okay, so from here, we're going to go to the floor. Some people prefer to do this upper back work and glutes against the wall. So you can just stand with your back to the wall and you put the ball like this in the upper trapezius and then in between shoulder blade and spine. And then you would like just have your back to the wall and you can massage out your glutes with your against the wall. Here, when we go to the floor, we'll next go through our alignment series, and you'll need a broomstick, a strap for stretching, and a foam roller or a rolling pin for the quadriceps. So yeah, if you're standing, you would just be with your back to the wall. On the floor, you might use a book. So when we work on the back of the neck and the upper trapezius, for some people, it's a lot easier to have the ball on top of a book. So we're going to start with upper trap. So it's right here, just at the base of the neck. I'm starting on the left side. And you can, move side to side or just put pressure. Especially right at the base of the neck is important, where the tendons attach up into the cervical spine in your neck. And then out toward the shoulder blade, if you move the ball out more toward the edge of the shoulder, you'll feel the shoulder blade. And here again, you can just put pressure or kind of move up and down. And in between the shoulder blade and spine. So this is, it's kind of awkward on the floor, easier to do standing. But of course, on the floor, you get a little more pressure. And then down a little lower in the lower trapezius, just at the bottom of the shoulder blade. Okay, now we'll switch to the right side, just at the base of the neck. It's good if you take that arm up or across your chest. We always start, some of this kind of work, because if your body isn't in very good alignment when you start out, naturally, you won't get the maximum benefit. So we're not really stretching so much. We're more putting our joints in a better angle for when we do our weightlifting. Okay, and then out at the edge of the shoulder blade, and you might move side to side, or if you can manage up and down a bit. And then at the lower part of the shoulder blade, okay, and next we'll work on the hips. So I like to do this on the floor. You lift up the hips a bit on the left side, and you put the ball under the outer edge of the hip and straighten the leg. And then if you can just tip the hips up so your hips are angled down on top of the ball, and it will sink right into the socket of your hip joint. So there you'll have contact with the head of the femur, that's your thigh bone, in your hip socket. And then if you can go down around the head of the femur, right beside your tailbone, by the coccyx. Okay, so here, if you're at the wall, you can, shift your hips side to side. On the floor, I'd like to go right at the edge of the sacrum. So you just put the ball incrementally up, and you'll feel the edge of the sacrum. And I like to just allow your body weight to sink in. This helps release the piriformis muscle to help prevent sciatica. And then you go up a little higher on the edge of the sacrum. And then right at the corner where the sacrum and the iliac crest meet. And then the pelvic bone, so the iliac crest will go out toward the outside of the hip again. Here you'll have to remind yourself to relax your leg. When you find an area that's a little sore, your leg will tend to tense up. And more toward the outside of the hip again. All right, and then we'll switch to the right hip. So of course, it's easier to do on the floor, but you get a little more pressure. Excuse me, it's easier to do against the wall, but you'll get more pressure on the floor. So hip just up a bit, right leg. Then I would straighten the right leg and tip the pelvis up. And the ball will just sink right in around the edge of the femur. And you might just leave the ball in an area where it's a bit sore. And work your way around the edge of the femur. Okay, and then toward the back. So now beside the tailbone. Okay, so then up vertically. So just move the ball maybe an inch or two up, and then you get pressure at the edge of the sacrum to help release the piriformis. And move that ball up a little higher. And if you want to, you can just roll your hips around a bit on top of the ball. Okay, a little higher. So now you're at the junction of the sacrum and the iliac crest. And now turning toward the side, And if it feels particularly tight, you can just stay there, relax the leg, and then a little further to the side. You're releasing the glutes all around the perimeter of your hips, of the pelvis. All right. So next, everyone could please be on the floor. And this is especially when if you had a book, you might put the ball on top of a book. And we're going to just work here at the base of the skull. And you just put the ball in a few places along the base of the skull. I find, I need to hold the ball in place. And I particularly don't roll around much. I just put it somewhere and put pressure down to release the suboccipital muscles, and then turn the head and do the same, but always in contact with the base of the skull. Okay, then we'll go to the other side. Earlier today, I was working with someone and her neck was very sore and she had terrible headache and a bit congested and a lot of different things. So we just kind of started right here, releasing the skull that was really pinching the blood supply and the nerves. And boy, she looked like a new person at the end of our session. Energy came back and no more headache, like she could breathe again. The alignment of the head was so much better. Okay, now we'll put the ball just behind the head, so it's right in the skull. And just gently nodding. Okay, then relaxing the shoulders and just take a deep breath. And again, nodding. And a deep breath. And now only the eyes up and down without moving the head. And a breath. And only the eyes move up and down. And a breath. Okay. So now we'll put the ball aside. And next, if you could get the strap. So we're going to start with the right leg. Under the right foot, the knee is over the hip. So you don't need to pull your leg a lot closer to you. Just keep the knee over the hip and straighten the leg to whatever angle works for your knee. Next, take both ends of the strap in the left hand, wrap it around the back of the calf into the right hand. Keep the leg very stiff, and we'll just rotate the leg in and out. And unwind the strap and switch legs. So right leg is down, left leg is knee over hip. Take both ends of the strap in the right hand, and wrap it around the back of the calf. Keep the left leg very stiff and rotating the femur in the hip joint. Okay, and we'll put the strap down. And next, the broomstick. So again, the right leg is knee over hip, and the broomstick in the back of the right leg and the hamstrings. And then pull the left leg up into it, so the quads of the left leg are in contact. And you're just kind of gently pressing the legs opposite directions into the bar. Your hips should be square on the floor, and the shoulders evenly set on the floor. So we're evening out the alignment of our pelvic girdle and shoulder girdle. And now switch your leg position. Here, your arms should be straight to help align the shoulders. The bar parallel to the floor. Legs a 90-degree angle at the knee. Broomstick down. Okay, now to release the chest a little, we're to take the arms out to the sides. Depending on your shoulders, we're looking for something like a Y position. The arms angled out like a Y with the palms facing up. Okay, now for rotational core activation, Imagine a big stability ball on your abdomen, and you want to wrap it with your arms and legs. So you should be bracing your abdominals. And just like a cradle, we're rocking side to side. But there should be no collapsing to the side and no twisting in the waist as you do that. And if you find you're losing control, then instead you can just hold this middle position and do deep breathing. And also try not to push off. So you shouldn't be falling to the side and pushing off with your arms or legs. Okay, and now just relax for a moment here. Now we're going to do a spinal rotation angle. You turn onto the right side. Okay, now very important here, the left knee goes around, but don't bring it all the way to the floor. Just have the left knee around, and then the left hand reach toward the right foot. If you just bring the left knee around, you'll over-rotate and your hamstrings will cramp. The right hand now is on the left knee. So the left shoulder is back and left knee forward. And both should be the same height from the floor. So just be careful. Don't just roll the knee forward. You don't want to over-rotate your lower back. Keep the left shoulder back. Okay, and then we'll turn on to the left side. So the right leg goes around, but again, don't bring the knee all the way to the floor. Just go part way. Then take the right hand and reach toward the left foot at the back. Left hand now on the right knee. And then even out the right shoulder back and the right knee forward. Okay, and then unwind. Great. Okay, so now we'll start that again. But first, I always like to pay attention to the neck strengthening. So a lot of us, the chin dives forward and the back of the neck becomes hyperextended. That means it arches too much. So we want to lengthen the neck and strengthen the muscles to hold the head in place. Your hands can be on the abdomen or under the lower back. If it's straining to do this, you can keep the head on the floor. Everyone right leg is up. So imagine someone's pulling you from the top of your head straight back, and the chin comes toward the throat. That elongates your neck. Keeping that length, if you can lift the elbows, and keeping the length, if you can lift the head, that's great. But if your chin is giving out, if your neck can't hold it, it's best to keep the head on the floor. And rest, head down. Lengthen, chin in, lift elbows, and if you can do it, lift the head. And rest. And again, lengthening the neck, chin in, lift the elbows if you can, and lift head and hold. And rest. Now switch, right leg straight, left leg bent. Again, we're lengthening from top of head, chin in, lift elbows and lift head, and take a deep breath. And rest. Lengthen first, chin in, elbows lift, head up, and breath. And rest. And again, lengthen, chin position, elbows, head up, and breath. And rest. Okay, now we're going to go through that series a little quickly. So if you could get the strap for the right foot, and this time we're just going to do the stretch. And again here, suggesting you keep the knee over the hip, work on straightening the leg, keeping the knee at that angle, but don't stretch behind the knee. So if you're feeling it behind your knee, I would bend the knee a little so that you don't overstretch the back of your knee. And if you have to straighten your leg all the way, like if your knee goes backwards, hyperextend the knee, that's also, of course, not a good thing to do. Switch legs. So we're looking toward straight leg, but not knee going backwards. Okay, so left leg, knee over hip, strap in the foot and just relaxing the shoulders. Always I like to pay attention to the spine. So lower back should be slight arch, shoulders evenly set on the floor. Okay, strap down. And now the broomstick, hamstrings of right leg and quadriceps of left leg. Okay, so the spine tuned in toward the throat, lengthening the neck, decompressing the spine. Tailbone is on the floor. Lower back should not flatten all the way down, just a slight arch low back. Okay, and switch the legs. You might notice also that when you have your good alignment, your abs are automatically engaging, giving support to your lower back and to the angle of the pelvis. Okay, broomstick down. And now we'll bring the arms out again in the Y position. And this time, when we do the rocking, we have the arms and legs up, and we're going to just do a hold. So just rock over to the left and hold. And rock over to the right and hold. And center. Okay, and then right leg straight, turning onto the right side. Left leg comes around, left hand reach back toward the right foot, right hand on the left knee, and always balancing the left shoulder back and left knee forward. And unwind, starting left leg is straight, then right leg goes around, not all the way to the floor, and right hand reach toward the left foot. If your hamstring cramps, just have the leg splayed. You don't necessarily have to hold on to the foot, but we're going in that direction. Okay, and unwind. So next I'd like to release the quads. So if you have a rolling pin and you don't like to lie down to do the rolling out the quads, then instead you can just sit in a chair or like that on the floor and just roll out the thighs like this. Or you can face down. Okay, so we're starting with the right leg. And it's best to do one leg at a time. If you put both legs up on the roller, you notice your back will hyperextend. So we're just above the right knee. And both elbows are on the floor in your good plank position. And gradually rolling incrementally up the leg. And you can slightly rotate your leg in different angles. So you don't necessarily need to roll out the IT band on the outside of the leg, but it is good to get pressure like this onto the TFL, tensor fascia lata. And also on the front of the hip, across the hip flexors. Okay, next we'll start on the left. So just above the knee. Got your good plank position, your lower back shouldn't be hyperextending. And you can turn the leg in slight different angles. The IT band is a very dense tissue that is like a steel rod that gives support to the femur. So your IT band should not be loose, actually. But the way to help it to feel freer and to move better is to release the tensor fascia latae. So that's right at the top of the leg, like this, at the outside of the hip. The TFL, the hip flexors directly in front of the hip here, at the top of the leg. Okay, and now from here, we're going to stand up and do a couple of things for back strengthening. And, I've done in the past, as probably most of you have, many different variations of bird dog type exercises, of Superman type maneuvers. And what we're going to do today, I've personally found to be the most beneficial. And in my clients, I would say the same. The results I've seen from these next couple of exercises have been of tremendous benefit, allowing people to do far more than you would imagine. So what you need is, if you have a big stability ball, you can try that. For a lot of people, it's very unstable. This is just a very strong, solid little table. Okay, if you have an ottoman, the kind of stool thing at the base of a chair, that would also work really well. Okay, so the first position is a type of a Superman angle. And the hands, so, the arms will be like this at the lower back, hands just out lower back. I think we'll do it this way. It's very important that you don't hyperextend the lower back. We're going to do 2 holds for 15 seconds, just to give you the idea. Here, the toes are on the floor, and your abdomen should be supported. You have to be sure you're really using your glutes and don't let your back to hyperextend. Hands at lower back, fingertips are touching, and then just slightly lift without cramping up the lower back. And hold, keep the chin tucked in. And then release. And lift a little and hold, keeping the glutes engaged. If you lift too high, your lower back will hyperextend and start cramping, so you shouldn't be lifting to that height. And then down, we'll do that 2 more times. So the lower back should be always just a neutral spine angle, slightly lift, but keep the chin in and the neck lengthened always. Keep the glutes engaging both sides evenly. Brace your abs and lower back. And just release a little, don't have to go too low. And then lift and hold, bracing your lower back, but not cramping the lower back. And relax. Okay, rest. Now, typically we would do multiple sets. Today we're just going to do 1 set of these 2 maneuvers. The next is a leg lift. Here, depending on how high your implement is, that will determine your arm angle. So here, again, the abdomen is supported. You're more over, so you're more like a push-up type position here. Now, if your ball is too is deflated, then you'll sink down too much. So if you're too low with your abdomen, you can bring the arms kind of forward like that, but keep the chin tucked in. But ideally, you'd be like a push-up position without hyperextending lower back. Feet are together. Brace your abs, brace your lower back, engage the glutes really firmly. Both legs lift and hold. Keep firing the glutes. Make sure it's even right and left. Your abs and lower back should be braced. And down. Again, reset. Shoulders are down from the ears, chin in. Brace abs, brace lower back, glutes engaged, lift and hold. If you bypass the glutes, you'll notice your hamstrings will start grabbing on. You'll notice your quads will start interfering. Should feel this glutes, abs, and just a brace in the lower back. Legs down, We'll do that one more time. Chin in and lift and hold. Very specifically, we're working on hypertrophy of the multifidi. The multifidi are small stabilizers of the spinal column and relax. The importance is these are the intrinsic stabilizers of the spine. And often when people try to do Supermans and other things, they don't use those muscles and then end up with problems. So that's our goal here, the intrinsic stabilizers of the spine. All right, so we'll put that away. We're finished with our spine strengthening. Next, we're doing deadlifts. Sorry about that. So we're going to just do a wide stance deadlift. You'll need one weight, a kettlebell or a dumbbell. And we're having only one hand holding on. So if you have like this, a wide stance, one arm, there's a rotational core component. And we're going to help keep ourselves stronger and prevent over rotation. The other benefit here of deadlifts is it's full body strengthening, and excellent for bone density building and basic muscle tone. So legs not too wide, just slightly out to the sides. What feels comfortable for your hips? Importantly, the knees and toes should always be pointing the same direction. Sometimes people's feet get too wide and then the knees go in. So you have to be sure knees and toes same direction. And the other action is the weight stays here between your feet. If the weight goes in front of you like that, then you'll load up your lower back too much. Okay, here we go. We're starting with left hand with the weight, and to externally rotate the shoulder, the palm is facing forward. Keep the chin tucked in, hip hinge, so you push the hips back, and engage the glutes to stand. So here we're thinking about glutes and stand. Hip hinge, glutes, stand. Okay, and weight down. Now maintaining that same angle, switching right hand. Palm is facing forward, so your shoulder externally rotated. Keep the chin in, hip hinge, push the hips back. Engage the glutes evenly, right and left. And rest. Great. And then recovery, just walking for a moment. Okay, then we're going to do another set, the same, 15 reps on each side. With this next set, if you could be aware of the feet, all the toes should be spread. The toes are pressing into the floor, toes outside of feet and heels, arches lifted. Be sure you don't roll to the outside of your foot. Always big toe pressing down and arches up. Left hand, chin in, concentrate on the feet, set the feet, hip hinge, and press the feet into the floor. Even pressure on the feet. Don't load up one leg. And rest. Okay, right side. Palm facing forward, chin in, brace your abs, brace the lower back. Set the feet, hip hinge, press the feet through the floor. Big toes down, arches up. And rest. And now we'll put that weight down. All right. So for our upper body main lift today, we're going to do chest pressing on the floor. And just to help ourselves get a little better preparation, if you could get your broomstick again. And so we're going to work into the pecs. Earlier we used the ball. This actually works really well with the broomstick, but depends on how your shoulders are feeling today. But so you see like that, and you just relax. Be sure you relax your head, and you can use the end of the broomstick to release tightness here. It is important though that you're not tensing up your neck. And you can, massage it around a little bit or just put some pressure. This gets in more deeply, so I really like doing this too. And here, by the underarm, and you can do a bit of rotator cuff, external rotations. Okay, switch to the other side. Here by the armpit. You can go right across the tendons of the pectoral muscles that attach to the humerus here, to your shoulder. And then you might do a bit of shoulder external rotations. All right, and now we're going to go to the floor and we're going to do 3 sets, 15 reps. If you need something for your head, you might have a small pillow or something to give your head support so that you don't hyperextend the neck. So we're doing 1 arm chest press. If you are fortunate and you have a bench, you could also, of course, use the bench. Most people don't have that luxury at home, but so this is another way to do it. Okay, so we're going to start with the left arm. To get better core control for rotation, we'll have one leg up. Starting with left arm, left leg is straight, right leg is bent. So then bring the elbow to the floor. Elbow should be about a 45-degree angle here, and the weight should be directly over the elbow. In this position, bring your shoulder slightly down from the ear and back in toward the floor, the shoulder. Keep the chin in, and then as you press, do not allow your shoulder to pop forward. You want to stabilize the upper back and the back of your shoulder. Okay, and then switch hands. Right leg is straight, left leg is bent. So first straighten the arm up, then bring the elbow down, 45-degree angle, chin in, the back of your right shoulder into the floor, and as you press, don't let that shoulder come up. and rest. Okay, and just put the weight down for a moment. So what I mean, and this has come up often in my life, that people have crunchy shoulders, painful shoulders, all this. Yeah, so in everyday life, often we let this arm, this is your humerus bone, and it goes, you're at the computer, right? And it goes forward like that. So you're essentially pulling the arm forward in the rotator cuff socket. And if we do that for long periods of time and with force, that you groove into the capsule so your arm can slip around too much, okay? So we want to stabilize your rotator cuff joint. So when you're straightening the arm, rather than going like that, you want to keep the shoulder back, and that will stabilize your rotator cuff, your shoulder joint, and the shoulder blade. Okay, so going back to left arm. Left leg is straight, right leg bent. Okay, first have the arm up and then elbow down. So 45-degree angle. The weight is directly over the elbow. Chin in, shoulder down from the ear and back into the floor. And as you straighten the arm, don't let the shoulder pop up. And rest. Okay, and switch to the other side. Right arm, right leg straight, left leg bent. Okay, so arm is up straight, and then bring the elbow down. Shoulder down from the ear. Keep the weight over the elbow joint as you press. Okay, and rest. Okay, and now switch sides, left arm, left leg straight, right leg bent. Okay, now the head angle, the spine, chin is toward the throat, shoulders down from the ears. Bring the left elbow to the floor. Your lower back should have a slight arch. The back of the hips should be square on the floor. Don't lean over toward the left. Excellent. Okay, keep the chin tucked in, left arm press. Okay, and rest. Okay, and right arm, right leg straight, left leg bent. Bring the elbow down. Set the right shoulder down from the ear, back into the floor. Keep the weight directly over the elbow. Keep the chin in. Center your hips. Center the shoulders on the floor. Perfect. And then begin. And rest. Good. And weight down. Okay. And then from here, we're going to stand up. So a really good way to do that for your core is if you come down on the left elbow, knees are together, right hand on the floor. So we don't want to twist our backs and knees when we get up. So you just lift the hips up a little bit, not too high, and then bring the right knee down. And then you're on hands and knees. And then toes curled under, and then the downward dog get up or inchworm get up. Phew. And that was easy. No twisting knees, no twisting backs. Okay, so next part of training today, we'll do something for agility. We need to keep up some quickness. If you have some kind of box, like some people have those step boxes, you see them in the gym. If you don't have one of those, if you have something else, I have at home like a piece of wood that's 4 inches high. It shouldn't be too high. I wouldn't use, a 9-inch step. Then you'll just twist your knees too much. We just are looking for quickness and elasticity of our tissues. So we're going to be doing sets of 10 seconds. And the first action, I don't have a box. And if you're like me and you don't have anything to use for a box to step up on, you would just do forward and back steps like this. Okay, forward and back. But don't do too much forward and back. That will jar your knees. So if you have a box, you just go up, down, down like that. If you don't have a box, you do like I do, just really small steps forward and back. Okay, we want to make sure we get all the different angles. So we're going to start out leading with the left foot. We'll just walk through it one time. You go left up, left down, right down. So we just keep going that pathway. We're going to do intervals, like I said, about 10 seconds for our fast feet and agility. Okay, so everyone ready? You have your box or you don't, like me. 1, 2, 3, left, start. And rest. Okay, now we're doing a right foot start. 1, 2, 3, right. And rest. Great. Okay, so we're going to go through again, the same thing. Starting with left. 1, 2, 3, left. And rest. And then right foot start. 1, 2, 3, right. And rest. Okay, that's great. Recovery. Okay, so next we need to do lateral. So we want to go side to side. So lateral, you start, if you have a box, like a step box, you would start on the right side of the box. And you go right, left, sorry. Starting on the right side of the box, you go right, left, and then you go back, left, right. So it looks like this. Now, I do have a couple things to say before we start. When you land with your foot, make sure you don't roll the ankle out. So big toe is pressing down, arch up when you land. And when you're stepping, the feet should always be pointing forward. Don't do like out toeing or twisting in a particular angle. Okay, everybody ready? We're starting on the right side of the box, left side of box, and we're stepping towards the right. 1, 2, 3, right. And rest. Sorry, got some dust in my throat. Starting toward the left. Left, right. Excuse me. I think I just swallowed a bug or something right here. Walk around. It is a very windy day. Okay. Now we're going again side to side. Starting on the left side of the box, stepping toward the right. And rest. Starting on the right side of the box, going toward the left. And make sure you're using your forefoot and toes. And rest. So the agility work is really good for balance, obviously, and for keeping the spring in our steps. Okay, we're going to go through that whole series again one more time, starting from the beginning, forward and back. Starting with left, going forward and back, or you could say up and down, forward. Ready? 1, 2, 3, left. And rest. Starting with right. 1, 2, 3, right. And rest. And starting with left. 1, 2, 3, left. And rest. And starting with right. 1, 2, 3, right. Okay, rest. Okay, so then we do lateral. By now, once you start getting tired, usually heads go forward. So make sure you keep the chin in like this. You should feel like you have really good core support as we do this. So now we're going side to side. We're starting going toward the right. 1, 2, 3, right. And rest. Starting going toward the left. And rest. Okay, last time. Both sides. Starting toward the right. And rest. See, good thing is you get a bit of heart rate up, right? Get a bit of cardio in this. Going toward the left. Last time. Left. And rest. Okay, my friends. Thank you very much for coming. Have a great day. Enjoy the sun or the rain or whatever we get. Thank you.